Hey guys, welcome to Troy Time. Check it out. Today I want to talk to you about this super simple hanging shoe rack garden. Okay, this is a vertical garden that can grow a wide variety of different vegetables, real vegetables. Okay, you can have a whole garden in a small space and it's super efficient. And I just had a lot of good success with it this summer, so I wanted to share with you. Not only am I going to share with you exactly what I grew and how I did it, but I want to share with you some of my tips and tricks that I'm going to be implementing next season, basically lessons learned from what I did this year. This shoe rack is just able to grow real vegetables. You might not think so in a small space, but you can actually grow cucumbers, you can grow tomatoes, you can grow peppers, people's favorite vegetables you can grow just on the side of a wall, just in a little shoe rack. So it worked out really, really well. Let's talk about what we did. Okay, guys, so let's talk about this shoe rack in detail, all right? These are Amazon shoe racks. There's a particular brand that I like because the pockets are a little bit bigger and a little bit taller than some of the other brands. I'll leave that in the description below. So we've got that, and then we have these plastic grow bags. Previously, I've grown in these without the plastic grow bags, and it didn't go very well. Things dry out super quick. It's like having clothes on a clothesline when you've got these things hung up vertically. That soil dries out quick. So by using these grow bags, it helps contain the moisture, and it really, really works well. I'm using half-gallon grow bags on the left, and I'm using 1-gallon grow bags on the right. Both of them work just fine. The 1-gallon size has a little bit more volume to it, but both will work just fine. Let's talk about some of the plants and some of the particulars for each vegetable we're going to grow. First up is peas. All right, peas did great on this thing. I like peas. Peas work really, really well. So I had a couple things that I want to change for next season. When I did my peas originally, I let them grow out and I waited to put a trellis on. So the peas were already drooping and hanging over before I put my trellis on. I used a simple string trellis and I hung it up top, and then I basically bent the stems back and tried to fold them back to fit into the trellis. Well, in doing so, I broke a lot of the stems. So it really hurt my pea harvest was my own operator error of not putting up the trellis early enough. So first tip on peas, put that trellis up as soon as you can and let the peas grow on it. Don't try and force them into it afterwards. So that made a big difference. But you can tell they're growing really, really well. The other second tip that I'll share for peas, these are Oregon Giant peas, by the way, but I didn't like how tall they got when I finally got to the end of the season for these. So if I was to grow peas again, which I will, I'd like to cut this shoe rack in half and have two separate side-by-side rows of 3 that then grow up the wall. I think that would work out much better. Some of these peas are just way too high, and it's just way too hard to try and maintain them and harvest them and everything when they're way above your head. So I would definitely go lower on the peas. Awesome. Another thing on the peas is pea shoots. I did a video on this earlier. You should go check it out. Man, did pea shoots do great on this thing. I did 4 little pockets of pea shoots. They were done in 10 days and they came out perfect. So that's just a great little thing to grow on these. Herbs and different microgreens are awesome on these. I didn't do any this season. I may continue to do some in the future. But man, pea shoots for sure are just a #1 win. And these little pockets are just perfectly suited for them. So there's a great look at them there. Go check out my pea shoot video. I do it not only in these hanging shoe racks, but I do it in pools and I do it in other raised beds and containers. So go check out that video. All right, let's talk peppers. Here's a top-down look at my pepper plants in mid-growth. This is right where we tucked in our pea shoots for our last pea shoot video. But this is the top-down. They did really well. I used mini bell peppers that I planted from seeds of the peppers that I bought in the grocery store, and they grew just fine. We had lots of fruits. They fruited, they flowered, and we had nice peppers coming off of this shoe rack. I was really pleased with peppers. And of note, a lot of my other peppers in my pepper patch got aphids, and for whatever reason, these on the shoe rack didn't. Probably because they were mixed in with other stuff, and it wasn't like one big patch of the same thing. So peppers work great. I highly recommend using peppers. Next up, tomatoes. So I used Tiny Tim tomatoes, and those are just the right size for this shoe rack. So here you can see I had a nice tomato plants growing. I grew 4 of them. We had flowers on them. They were doing really, really well. They had flowers. They were starting to form fruits. And then the biggest problem for me with tomatoes was that something, I think a squirrel, crawled up on my actual shoe rack and ate all the leaves and all the flowers off my tomato plants. They left them just down to the nub, just stems sticking up bare. So in the future, my recommendation, if you're doing tomatoes, I'm going to go with some insect netting or something around them to help keep the pests away. So biggest thing about tomatoes, sure, they work great. Use Tiny Tim, and then use some sort of protection to keep pests, birds, squirrels, and things like that off of my tomatoes. Cucumbers. Cucumbers are another great choice for growing on the shoe rack. I have some awesome cucumber flowers here, and the plants are doing just great. The biggest thing for me with cucumbers is spacing. So what I did, unfortunately, is I did 4 cucumber plants, and I put them all directly across in a line. Well, unfortunately, that made sort of a canopy, right? So it kind of threw shade on the bottom part of the shoe rack. So although the cucumbers grew great, and even the rest of the crops were able to go okay, but next time what I would do is I would space cucumbers spaced apart on the edges, and I would pigtail them off to the side rather than let them form a canopy in front of the shoe rack. Here you can see it sticking out like that. I would like to take that tail and curve it off to the side like 2 pigtails coming out of the sides of the shoe rack rather than sticking out in front and shading everything below them. But other than that, the cucumbers did great, man. They very strong plants and they grew real well. Real pleased with cucumbers. Greens. Okay, greens are awesome. I love greens. You can grow all different types of greens in these little packets, okay? I've grown Swiss chard. I've grown several different types of lettuces, kale, tons of different greens. I love greens. Um, my most favorite thing about greens is I love growing them high density. If you follow my channel at all, you know that almost all the greens I grow are high density greens, and I've had huge successes growing them in all sorts of things, grow bags, pools, you name it. I've grown tons and tons of high density greens. Here you can see, so here it's been a success in the grow bags, and you'll see other containers here, but I wouldn't do the high density in the packets because I've tried that. I had some Swiss chard, I had some kale, I had some lettuces, and they tend to peter out. If I put like 10 or 15 plants in one pocket, they just can't get enough nutrition to keep themselves going to harvest. They get about halfway to harvest as baby greens, and then they kind of peter out. So I really know high density greens well, and I can just tell that they just can't get enough nutrition when they're in these packets. I'm used to doing them in hydroponics like this here. And so in the hydroponics, they don't compete for nutrients. So you can stuff them into that small space. But what you can't do that with the shoe rack when they're grown in soil. So in the soil, what I would do is I would put them in one pocket of the shoe rack and grow them as sort of starter plants, and maybe let them sit there for 2 weeks. So in their place where you're going to transplant them to, that's a perfect time where you could grow some pea shoots, and that's just going to add nitrogen to the soil when you harvest your pea shoots. Then separate your greens into each separate pocket of the shoe rack. And I think that'll work out the best. That's what I'm going to do next year. Okay, so the greens bring me to these items. So I got these from Walmart. These are actually plant growing hanging mounts that I got from Walmart. They're normally like $22.50, and I got them on clearance a couple years back for $2.50 each. So I paid $5 for these, but I'll tell you what, they're not worth it. I tried doing all kinds of different lettuces on these, and all of them died. The only thing that would live is the very bottom row, because what's happened is that they dry out so quickly. So the bottom row gets the rain down from all the water above them. So the bottom row was the only one. The only thing that I could get to live in this was just kale, and only on the bottom row. After all my lettuces failed, then I put kale on the whole entire hanging pot system, and just the bottom row survived, and it limped along. I'll tell you, it's just so hard to keep any water on this. The pockets are smaller. These are more expensive than the hanging shoe rack, and they just don't work as well. I just don't recommend these at all. The hanging shoe rack with the plastic grow bags is definitely the way to go. Stay away from these. They're not worth your money. The pockets are so small you can't fit anything in them, and they just can't hold the moisture. So definitely go with the shoe rack. Stay away from the store-bought ready-to-go item. Yeah, so these shoe racks, they just worked really well. There's a lot of little tweaks that I'm doing for next season, so follow along. Make sure you like and subscribe. You're going to see everything that we're doing with them next season, but man, they're just an easy garden, easy to maintain. Ergonomically, you can stand up and you can do all your gardening while you're standing. Works out really, really nice, so I like it a lot. Um, just had real good success. And you could have just one of these standing, it's super efficient, small space, really a good way to go. I've been really happy with what I got out of them this year. And as we make little tweaks, I think it's just going to get better and better. So I wanted to share that with you for sure. Lots of successes on all of our warm weather stuff. We're getting ready now to switch over. We're going to now do cool weather crops in these. I didn't take as many pictures as I wanted to because doing the video on this is sort of an afterthought. This was a lot of prototyping, so I didn't film the harvest or anything like that. I wasn't planning on making this video, but in the future I'll definitely be filming these more and keeping you abreast of what I'm doing with them, right? But let's talk about cool weather crops, okay? So radishes and turnips, a couple of my favorites. So now we've got these things. I just did the harvest a little while back. I've got these all set up. So on the left, I'm going to do radishes. Those are in my half-gallon containers. And on the right, I'm going to do turnips. And those are going to be my 1-gallon containers. And the radishes, there's not much to see because I planted those from seed. So I put one little hole, and then I put 3 French breakfast radishes in each hole. So each pocket has 3 radishes, all in the same hole, French breakfast. On the turnips, now those I'm doing 2 turnips per pocket. Now I'm doing some other experiments and prototypes with turnips. I'll show you that in an upcoming video. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. But I had turnips grown and I'm actually transplanting turnips. It's not something you see very often, so we're going to see how it goes. So far, some of my other prototypes are doing amazing. So there's some other types of planting and growing methods I'm going to show you soon on that. But yeah, so that's what's going on. And I'll do a better job of capturing some photos of the radishes and turnips in this system here as we go forward. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. This video I kind of threw together. I wasn't planning on making this one, but I really wanted to show everyone just how easy and how versatile these hanging gardens can be. So real quick video just to throw together, show you that stuff, and hopefully you got something out of it. And yeah, it's a great way to go. Super easy, super inexpensive, nice little hanging garden. Highly recommend you try it next year or this year if it's warm in your climate, but I'm coming into winter right now. But yeah, and we'll follow the cool weather stuff. We'll see how that goes, and stay tuned because we still got some cool gardening stuff to show you as the year's wrapping up. Additionally, I'm getting ready to start my whole series on indoor gardening. We've got indoor gardening from anyone, large, small, medium, and just all kinds of gardens that we're growing inside. So yeah, with the hydroponics and with some other stuff. So super excited about a lot of the gardening stuff coming up. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be showing you still stuff outside yet this year. We've got a couple other garden things that have worked really well for me that I'm going to share yet. So next year is an exciting year outside for sure. So you can follow my site. We'll go step by step over what I've got going on when we start this stuff in the spring. And I'll try and do a little bit better job of capturing it all the way through the harvest. But indoors, I'm super excited about the indoors coming into winter. So yeah, so definitely follow the channel. Definitely give me a like. Say hello in the comments so I can keep my channel growing. Yeah, and just lots of good stuff ahead, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back real soon. I'm starting to turn out a lot of videos now. Now that the gardening's slowing down, it's giving me more time to put these out. So yeah, lots of stuff to see. I want to show you some exciting stuff that I've been doing this year. Lots of successes out in the garden. Had a few failures too, sharing that and sharing what we learned. And yeah, that's what we got. So I'm going to talk to you again real soon. Please like this video, subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon. This is Troy Time. I'm out.